Hey guys, good morning. Happy Friday. It's Daryl here. It's 8 a.m. bright and early here in Connecticut on the East Coast. As you can see, I just got back from my walk. I'm getting ready to go for my bike ride. And I want to talk to you guys about an incident that happened to me. And the reason I'm talking about this has to do with, the statement that came out from the Minneapolis police, the George Floyd incident. Just recently, the police statement, like Bo the Fifth Column, compared it to the original police statement and what they said when they wrote the report, what they claimed happened, that no weapons were used, that the suspect seemed to have some kind of medical emergency. Now that we know what really happened, we saw with our own eyes, the videos came out, and we saw what really happened, and we compare it to that report. It's pretty hard not to say that it was flat out lies. It was twisting the truth, to put it lightly. And I think there's a lot of people across the country that just have never dealt with the police and just assume that they are all good, upstanding, completely honest people. And well, to paraphrase one of Trump's statements, they are dishonest, they are bullies, but some of them, I assume, are good people. I'm talking about policemen. Also, I saw a statement by Brett Favre that the statement was something along the lines is that he doesn't believe that Derek Chauvin could have really had it in his mind to hurt George Floyd. That wasn't, he doesn't think that Derek Floyd was capable of that he meant to do that. It's just a lot of people, I think, have never dealt with police. And they assume that they are all completely honest. So I want to talk to you about an incident that happened in my past. And this is nowhere near as serious. I swear on the Bible, every word I'm going to tell you is the truth. It happened when I was about 22 years old, which was over 30 years ago. Okay, and one thing I want to say too, when I do these videos from time to time that involved with my past substance abuse and other mistakes I made, I kind of want to make this statement, make it clear that I do these videos like this not to glorify or to brag. I know a lot of my viewers are over 40 and probably have kids of their own or grandkids even. And I've been clean and sober for over 14 years, since October 23rd, 2006. And I've reached a point in my recovery where I need to give back, to pay it forward. That's part of my recovery now. And I make these videos so that hopefully it could help somebody with their kids, their brother, their sister, with themselves, whatever. Hopefully not just to hear my stories and not make the same mistakes I made, or to spot certain behavior or whatever that maybe somebody could get involved before it gets too bad. That is my point for making these videos. All right, so let's get right into it. This was when I was about 22 years old. I was working for a architectural firm. I was one of the youngest design draftsmen in the firm. I wore a tie to work and everything. I carried a briefcase. And this was on the weekend. I used to like to ride my 10-speed. We still had 10 speeds back then with those ram horn handlebars. And I believe it was around Thanksgiving. I don't quite remember. I think it was after Thanksgiving dinner, actually. And I wanted to take a ride. I rode my bike a lot for exercise. I had a car that I drove to work, but I rode my bike. And I used to indulge in cannabis back then. And so the idea here was, after I dealt with my family and everything, I was going to go take a ride on my bike. And I was going to take along a little treat for myself. When I got halfway out, that I would take a break and indulge and then come back. Okay, it was a rainy day. So this was my plan. I was wearing shorts, t-shirt, and I brought along my wallet in case I wanted to stop at the store and buy a soda. Now, it was raining or sprinkling from time to time. So my shorts didn't have any pockets. So I would put my wallet in my sock. In case it started raining and I didn't want anything to get wet, I would put it in a plastic bag, a sandwich bag. I put my wallet in the sandwich bag, and then I would tuck it into my sock. I would do that regularly so it wouldn't get wet, it wouldn't get sweaty or whatever, and it would keep You know, I would put things in we had the big pull-up socks back then with the stripes on them. Remember those? Those big, tall, white gym socks with the stripes. All right, so, and I also stuck a cannabis treat joint into my wallet and put it in the plastic bag and put it in my sock. All right, so I rode my bike out down to a city, the city nearest here, Waterbury, the nearest city. And it started to rain, so I figured this would be a good time to pull over, take my little break, and then go back home. I pulled into a parking garage. Now, this was on the weekend. I think it was the Thanksgiving Day weekend, I think. I don't know why. I really think it was that weekend. And it was all but deserted. So I look around for a quiet little place where I could just take a little break and indulge. And I see the stairs going up in between the layers of the parking garage. So I think I carried my bike up one or two layers. And I got right in between the one floor and the other floor so I could kind of keep an eye around, because cannabis was still illegal back then. And I indulged, all right? And I almost finished. Just a little teeny amount left of what you would call a roach. And I thought I heard somebody coming. So I got my bike, threw the roach down, got my bike, and I started to go up the stairs. And a cop comes down the stairs. And he's like, "Oh, what do you do? What's going on here?" So he picks up the roach. He picks up the plastic bag. He got the plastic bag that my wallet was in. I can't remember if I think I threw the plastic bag down on the ground, and I just put the wallet in my sock. I'm not sure why I did that, but I'm pretty sure the plastic bag was on the ground at that point. And he arrests me, all right, for a little joint. So they call a paddy wagon, because I had my 10-speed with me, and they took me downtown, 22 years old, with my 10-speed going downtown for possession. I'm in the back of the paddy wagon with my 10-speed, and this guy was a jerk. He had thick glasses, and he had these big, heavy, clunky black motorcycle boots. And I remember there was a window where I could see up into the cab from the paddy wagon. And there was the driver, and then there was this cop that arrested me, and he had his big clunky foot up on the dashboard. And he was flashing around the plastic bag, and he was I could hear him through the wall, through the window. And he was saying that that when he came around the corner, I dumped out a whole bag of weed, and it blew away. But all he was able to recover was the plastic bag and the roach. He lied. He flat out lied. There's no way I was carrying around a full bag riding a bicycle. There's no reason. Why would I do that? Right? So this is the first I hear him saying this. It turns out he was in that garage. Apparently there had been car break-ins. I had no idea. And apparently they were stealing radios. I found this out later. And this one cop had been stuck in the garage all day on surveillance. And I suppose it was boring or whatever. And I must have been the first person he came across. And he came to investigate me. Like they were waiting they had surveillance looking for people breaking in cars, which of course I had nothing to do with. So I get downtown, and that's what they charged me with. He wrote in the report that I had an entire Z. I don't know what they call it now. They call it a lid, a Z. I don't know what they call it. But an entire bag. And somehow, when I saw him come around the corner, this is what he said in the report, that I dumped it all out, and it all blew away. So not even one little teeny scrap was recoverable. Nothing. Completely empty plastic bag and the roach. That's all he was able to recover. And he wrote this in the report. It was read in the courtroom. Yes, I had to go to court for this. I didn't really know how the court worked. I had never been arrested at this point. And I met with the prosecutor. I didn't even know what the prosecutor was for at this point. I was a 22-year-old architectural draftsman. I didn't know anything about the court system. I didn't even understand the prosecutor's job was to really put it to me. So I thought he was there to help me. And he tells me, you should take the first-time offender or youthful, I forgot what he called it. It's basically your only time get out of jail free card, right? You only get it one time. I didn't know at that point that it's something you really should hold on to in case you have a big felony down the road. It's your one get out of jail free card. I think it was called a first-time offender or youthful offender. And it's a one-time get out of jail free card. I used it for this roach. I remember being in front of the judge, and they read that whole police report, the falsified police report. This cop flat out lied that I had an entire bag in court. It was read in court to the judge. Flat out lied. I didn't even bother trying to correct him. I don't think I even said anything. I knew better than to talk smack to say anything in front of the judge. So when they read about all that was recovered was a roach, the entire courtroom behind me broke out in laughter. They laughed at the fact that I was standing there over a roach. And so I used my youthful offender. I remember the judge saying, well, I wish you the best of luck. Get clean, young man. He was very serious. Like I was, like this was, I would go on. Unfortunately, I would go on to use much worse drugs. And I probably should have heeded the judge's advice at the time. But he said, I wish you the best of luck, young man. Stay on the right track. The reason I brought up the drafting thing is because where I worked for the architectural office was right on the corner from the court building. So I told my boss, one of my architects, that I got to go to court around the corner. I don't think I told him what it was for. And I just, on my lunch, no, it wasn't my lunchtime. It was earlier than that. And I walked around the corner, went to court, walked back to work with my tie on and everything, and went back to my 9-to-5 job over a roach. And like I said, this is one of the first times, and not the only time, that a policeman completely lied, 100%. I assume that this cop was bored, and he was probably stuck in this garage as a punishment, or maybe he was low on the totem pole or whatever, and he was bored and nothing was happening, and so he decided to make a case out of me. But he completely lied. And the worst part, this was one of the first times I ever saw this happen. It was in court. He actually went to court and testified that he lied. He lied under oath that I had a whole bag of weed, that I dumped it out, and mysteriously it all just blew away and disappeared. And he was not able to recover one tiny speck, not even a seed. And that's what he told the judge. And everybody, the court believed him. So policemen don't always tell the truth. I think in their head, they're doing the right thing, I think. They're trying to make a case stick, because criminals get off too easy. And they do something like this, where they actually just make up a story and screw over somebody that, I was a white-collar guy starting out my career in an architectural office that indulged in a little bit of marijuana. And this guy tried to stick it to me, and I ended up using a very important get-out-of-jail-free card that I probably could have used down the road. And I used it for this because the cop just flat out lied. Lied in the report and lied in court. It happens. All right, you guys have a good Friday. I'll be back later with another video. I got so much to talk about today.